Good morning, Rabbi Isai. We're holding on the top of Daf Kuf Vav Amud Aleph, 3 lines down. Vaha. So what's going on here? We learned that if somebody says he's going to donate a mincha, could be one of these 5 menachos. We're not exactly sure which one he meant, so he brings them all. It could be that he meant a mixture. The Gemara says it can't go according to Reb Shimon, and then the Gemara says it does go according to Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon is the one that says it can actually be a mixture of chalas and rikikin. So if that's the case, it can't be Reb Shimon. The Gemara says, yeah, it could be Reb Shimon. Could be, yeah. You make a t'nai. You say, I don't know exactly how many of each. It could be, maybe I gave 5 chalas, 5 rikikin, whatever it is, whatever my chayv is, whatever my obligation is, that's what I'm giving. The rest is going to be an adava, a gift to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Gemara says, but how do you do kmitza? The Gemara went into that. Now the Gemara says, but wait a minute. With every mincha, you have to bring oil. What do you do with the leftover oil? And if you don't know what to do with the leftover oil, you can't bring this mincha at all. What's the problem? The mechza chalos and mechza rikikin omar, if in fact it did mean half and half, the chalos and rikikin, moisar shem machzir lechalis. Then the halach would be, take the leftover oil, whatever's left over, put into the challah side, not to the rikikin, to the challah side. Kulu rikikin omar, and if he said, now the problem is, if he said, if it's all challah, if it's half and half, put the rest, the leftover oil, put it into the challah. Kulu rikikin omar, but if he said, I'm bringing only rikikin, moiser Hashem and nechal kohanim. We have a problem here. What do? Do you give the leftover to the kohanim, or do you pour it into the batch? You can't just make something up here. You can't just give it to the kohanim if you have to pour it into the batch. You can't pour it into the batch if you have to give it to the kohanim. Says Gemara, I have an eitzah. It goes like Reb Shimon ben Yehuda, also Rosh Tevis Rosh B. Deciding Reb Shimon ben Yehuda Omer Mishum Reb Shimon, if it goes like him, we have a good eitzah. What do? Moishchan kimin ki. This is also like coming back. What's kimin ki? So we had a major machlokes, a different sheet, not a machlokes. So Rashi over here says it's like a test. Rashi in Hoyer says a ches. Rashi in Shmoy says a chaf. Rashi in Krisis says it's a X. The Rambam says it's a X. In Chumash, it's a Gimel. The Aruch says it's a V. B'kitzer, if you go with most of the sheet, it's more like a chaf, upside down, sideways. Test is just missing the little. People say he really meant a chaf. Just it's like a little, a test has a little piece on top, like that top right corner. Okay, the point is that you write some sort of letter on the challah. So this idea, if we hold like Reb Shimon ben Yehuda, no matter what, even if it's the chalas, it goes to the kohanim. Even if it's the rikikin, it goes to the kohanim. So at the end of the day, we know what to do with the oil. That's not a problem. So think about it. These are the 5 menachos that what a person says, stam, he doesn't explain what. He says, I want to bring a mincha. It could be one of these. Now the question is, aren't there other menachos? One of the menachos that we spoke about yesterday is called Minchas Nesachim. Minchas Nesachim is a mincha that comes together. It's a little confusing. So towards the end of the Masechta, let's just figure it out. Let's just discuss it. Nesachim comes with every single shlamim and every single oila. Every time you bring a carbon oila or a carbon shlamim, you must bring a Minchas Nesachim. It includes wine, it includes oil, it includes flour, depending on the size of the animal. So let's say if we're going to go with the smallest animal, a sheep, so you have to bring 3 lug of wine, 3 lug of oil, and one isarn of flour. Maybe that's what the guy meant. By the way, this is important. You could bring a nesachim all by itself, without an animal. I could say, I want to bring the nesachim that I typically bring with the bowl. I want to bring which requires more wine. I want to bring the basic one, the one that goes with the sheep. So that would be 3 lug of each. 3 lug of yain, 3 lug shem, and a revius. That's called a revius. Revisahin. Soilus. Perhaps this is, maybe when he said a mincha, he didn't mean the 5 menachas that we keep on talking about. Maybe he's talking about the mincha of nesachim, which you could bring on its own without an animal. The Amarava, as we learned the other day, misnadav adam minchas nesachim b'chol yain. A person, it's not a problem to give an adava to the Rebbeinu Shalom every single day of your life. So now the Gemara, in order to answer the question, the Gemara is going to basically teach us the difference the 5 differences that there are between a mincha, soilas, and machmas, the typical 5 menachos to the nesachim. There are 5 differences. And when you know those 5 differences, the Gemara is arguing that a person is not going to make a mistake between a mincha that has this difference and not. But it teaches us the differences. Siman, what are the differences? Yachid, Biglal, Levaina, Beloig, Mikamtza. That what? Number 1. Ba Biglal Yachid, Ba Biglal Tzibur, Mistapkelei. We learned that these 5 menachos, you can't bring, even a b'shutvas, you can't even have a single partner. So certainly you can't be from the whole community, whereas nesachim can be from the whole community. A person is not going to make a mistake. He's not going to say, "Oh, I don't remember. Is it nesachim that I can't even have a partner, or nesachim that I could do with everybody?" He won't make such a mistake. Another one, Kikom Estapkelei, Ba Biglal Atzma. He doesn't confuse a mincha that comes all by itself, like the 5 menachos. There's a mincha that can come together with an animal. He'll remember quite well that he donated a mincha that usually goes with sheep, with bulls. It doesn't go by itself. Another one, Tuna Levaina. Nesachim does not require Levaina. So he's not going to make that mistake. In his mind, he knows whether it has Levaina or not. She'ena Tuna Levaina, Lemstapkelei. Basically, the Gemara is just telling us in a side way all the nafkaminas, a list of 5 nafkaminas. Kikam istapkelei babaloi. How many? When you have one of these 5 menachos, how much oil is required? 1 lug, and the minimum of an nesachim is how many? 3 lug. A revi sahin. Kikam istapkelei babalog. Babashleish lugim lemistapkelei. I could hear in his mind. He knows exactly. He knows if he's going to have to schlep a huge amount of oil to the Beis HaMikdash is just 1 little bottle. Kim stapkelei tuna kemitza. She'ena tuna kemitza loy ka mistapkelei. Minchas nesachim does not require a kemitza. Why not? Think about it for a second. Why does minchas nesachim not require a kemitza? Anybody? Because it all goes on the mizbeach. Why do you do a kemitza? Kemitza means you take a little bit of flour in your hand, and the rest becomes shirayim, and then you could eat. The kohen gets to eat it. But if the entire thing goes on the mizbeach, like a minchas nesachim, everything, where does the wine go on the mizbeach? In the shitin. The oil and the flour goes on the mizbeach. So there's no kmitza over here. A person is not going to confuse himself between a mincha that has a kmitza and a mincha that doesn't have a kmitza. That's why nesachim is out of the question. Zokti Gemara Pirashti. We learned in the Mishnah Pirashti mincha shel esroinim. This was wild, mamish. A guy, he's poor like anything. He doesn't have any money. All he has left is a bag of flour in his house. His wife is going to make a little, bread for the week, and he's going to bring this 1 bag of flour to the Rebbeinu Shalom. That the Gemara said is nefesh. It's mamish neshama, and because he messed up, he has to bring 1,830 bags of flour because he Pashat said the wrong thing and he doesn't know. Pirashti mincha shel esroinim. I said I'm going to bring a mincha of different esroinim, and I don't know what I said. Tana Rabbanon, Pirashti mincha shel esroinim ve'eni yidea ma pirashti. Yomi mincha shel shishim esroinim. Divrei Chacham. Chacham say, you know what? Oh, where? Where are you? I said it. I did. I just skipped the 3 words. It's not. We're not goyers then.
They're goyers in the here.
He's goyers over there. Okay. That those words. Okay. It's very important because it's a little bit. It's negate to the sugya. These words. So maybe who put it in? The Bach sticks it. Okay. That the Bach says basically that the whole sugya is because Rebbe holds that he said I want it in 1 kli. If he wouldn't describe that it's in 1 kli, then you could put it in 60 different kelim. You put each kli, 1 isarim per kli times 60, and that will get rid of all our problems. Because if he said they want to bring a 3 isarim mincha, is 3 kelim. If he said 60, here's 60 kelim. The problem is that he said I want it in 1 kli. I want it in 1 kli. So perhaps it's 61 kli. Perhaps it's 59 in 1 kli. So let's do 59 of chayv and 1 of nadav in 1 kli. You cannot do that. You cannot mix a nadav with a chayv in 1 kli. So now you're stuck. Now you need 60 kelim that each one has a different shear. One has 1, the next one has 2, 3, 4, etc., all the way up to 60. According to Rebbe. Rebbe Omer, Yomi Menachos shel esroinim me'echad v'atshishim shehein B'kavati b'klei shel Yisroelim ve'eni yedei ma pirashi. I don't know what I said. Yovi mincha shel shishim Yisroelim divrei chachamim. I read this. I'm going to read it again. He's going to bring a mincha of 60 Yisroelim only once. 160er. Why? Because whatever it is, it'll be in the kli. If I said 20, so 20 out of the 60 should be my mincha that I am chayiv. The rest, the 40, are going to be another mincha called a minchas nedava. Just for fun. Just to bring a nedava takash baruch hu. Divri Rebbe. Divri chachamim. Rebbe Omer, what does Rebbe say? Yavi Menachos shel Esroinim me'echad v'atshishim. This is unbelievable. You bring a kli that has 1 isarin, you bring another kli with 2, another kli with 3, 5, 10, 20, up to 60. Total amount, shehein, elef, u'shmoinim me'isishloishim. How do you do the math? We're going to do it really quick. You take whatever number it is, you do 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So over here we have till 60. You add a 1, so it's 61. You divide it in 2, it's 30. You take that division, whatever number you divide it, 30. 30 times the number that you have. 30 times 60 equals 1800, but there's a 1, so it's 1830. 1830. Pirashti, venu yudei men pirashti, venu yudei kama pirashti. Oh, what if I don't even know which one of these 5 it is? Now I have to do everything times 5. So according to Chachamim, you bring 60 in one bowl times 5. So it's 5 times 60. How much is that? 300. According to Rebbe, that it's 1830, but it could be any one of these. 1830 times 5 is how much? 10,150. So now you have to bring 5 menachos, each mincha 60 equals 300. Now you have to do 5 times 1830. This is mamish. Hold on a second. A person who brings a mincha, it's a poor person usually. He brings one thing. Over here he's going to have to bring 9,150, which is a tremendous amount of money. It's 15 tons of flour. It's a lot. Yeah, afilu noita kol memoincha, b'chol moedecha, afilu noita kol memoincha. Omer Rav Chisda. Okay, so now we have 5 mahalchim. We have 5 ways to explain the sugya. 5 ways. Again, what's a machlokes? If a person doesn't know what he donated to the Beis Hamikdash, and it could be 1 through 60, 1 isarin, 2 isarin, 60 Yisraelim. So according to Chacham, just bring 60. Bring the highest number, and you make a condition, you make a t'nai, and you say, Zog the Gemara. So Nacham, Rebbe says you can't just bring 60 and say, oh, I'm making a condition that if I meant 50, so 50 out of it is chayva, and 10 of it is nedava. It doesn't work. And we're going to see why it doesn't work. There's 5 reasons why, according to Rebbe, that doesn't work. Are you allowed to bring into the Azara mundane things? Why? Because if you have a bowl of flour, and half of it is my mincha, what's the other half? Cannot be in a dava. Why? Because it cannot mix in the same bowl those 2 things. Hold on a second. You can't mix in those 2 things. You can't mix in the into the bowl 2 different karbanas. Elamai, half of it is my carbon, half of it is just mundane. But you cannot bring mundane into the Beis Hamikdash. You cannot bring chulin into the Azara.
It turns into another.
No, it doesn't. It never does. It can't. Because
the t'nai is...
No. Rebbe says you can't. You can't make a t'nai. Why? Because you cannot. First of all, you can't mix. Aleph.
Chulin la'azara, but you could change it into a nedava, and then it's not chulin.
But if you change the nedava, now you have a nedava and chayv in one kli, and you can't do that. You can't have a chayv and nedava in one kli. They can't touch each other. They can't be mixed with each other. Sorry.
Chulin?
B'tzad the nedava. B'tzad nedava and chayva cannot mix. They cannot mix 2 karbanas. You could mix chulin with the carbon, but the problem is that now you brought chulin, apples into the Beis Hamikdash. You're not going to take the chulin and change it into a carbon. It's not going to change. It is what it is, but it's chulin, and it's in the Azara. So now you have simple apples, simple flour in the Azara. Rebbe Savar also lahachnes chulin Azara. You're not permitted to bring chulin to the Azara. V'Rabbanan Savri mutar lahachnes chulin Azara. You're not. the question, are you allowed to bring chulin into the azar? Yes or no? Rav Amar. The kuli al me also lachnas chulin azar. No. So there's another mahalach here. Mahalach number one is, what Shilas, could I bring chulin to the? No. Everybody says Rav or Rabba, the kuli al me also lachnas chulin azar. Everybody agrees you're not allowed to bring chulin to the azar. Another simple machloikis. Can you mix in that same bowl the chulin with the chayva in the same bowl? So that solves all the problem. I can mix the chayva and the nedava, two different menachos into one bowl. So maximum, all you have to bring is 60. Within the 60, I'm going to have part of it is going to be chayva. I'm going to make, I don't know how many. I make it tnai. Whatever it is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know how many? It's 18. The rest is going to be a nedava. Since it's also to mix the chayv and nedava, so maybe I have to bring one of every type up to 60, 1830. You need to have two kmitzas. Says the Gemara, the comments. Okay, here we go. This is the chayva. This is the nedava. My printer, I apologize, the printer is not working so stark. Here we go. Oh, we're going to make a mincha. No, we're not going to make a mincha. We're going to do a kmitza. This is 60 sarin. Let's pretend. Put it over here. 60 sarin. So I go like this. Stick my hand in. Oh my gosh, this is mamish geschmack. I flip my hand over. And this is kmitza number one. Kmitza number one, I'm going to put into this bowl right over here. Now, it's possible that not everything in this bowl is a chayva. Maybe I didn't promise to bring 60. Maybe I promised to bring 30. So I have to take another kmitza, says the Gemara, another one for the rest of it, which is mincha number 2 in this bowl, which is an nedava mincha. So I stick my hand again and do it like this. Turn it over. I gotta make sure I don't have too much on this side with my pinky like this. Here, this is my kmitza. Boom, dump it in here. Great. So now I have a chayva kmitza over here and a nedava kmitza over here. Next. Says the Gemara, when I took my kmitza out the very first time, I went like this and I put it in here. In this bowl, I have a little bit of my nedava. Because this whole thing is a little bit nedava, a little bit chayva. In my kmitza, there's a little part of it that is nedava. Problem. Why? Because my kmitza needs to be 100% perfect. I can't have too much and I can't have too little. A big part of it is not even a kmitza, it's not even a chayva. Says the Gemara, this guy that donated the 60, whatever he donated, he doesn't say what is what. He says, you know what? Let the kohen decide. When the kohen takes out, whatever he takes out, the first, whatever he takes out first, that should go towards. Because you don't know which part of the flour is chayva, which part is nedava. It's only decided later. Okay, so the kohen decides that the first kmitza that he took is chayva. So that gets rid of that problem. And the second one should be nedava. Ask the Gemara, big problem. How do you put it on the mizbeach? Look at the nedava b'reisha. So let's check this out. Let's say I take this bowl and I put this on the mizbeach. Okay. Dilma, the chayva heicha maktila. How could I go ahead and put this one on the mizbeach? I cannot put the second bowl on the mizbeach, the chayva bowl. Why? Dilma kula chayva. Perhaps all 60 in this guy were all what I promised to bring originally. And then what? So now it comes out that this 60 is missing how much? This much. One kmitza that I put in here as an nedava is missing off the 60. You cannot bring this guy, chayva guy, onto the mizbeach if some of this is missing. If an animal comes and eats a little bit out of here, the shirayim is missing. This is shirayim left over. An animal comes and eats. I cannot put this on the mizbeach. Over here, it's not an animal. You took this plastic bowl and put a kmitz in here, you're like an animal. You took some of the shirayim out and put it over here. You have no right to do that. I don't know what to do. Now I can't put this on the mizbeach. Elamai, you put the chayv on first. Put this on first. That's also a problem. Dilma kulu chayv chazir shirayim. V'omer ma'ar shirayim shechazir ben kmitz la'aktaro ein maktir komitz aleim. So what do? Lick the chayv b'reisha. So put this guy on first. Put this guy on first. Says the Gemara, no, then it'll be a problem. How do you put this on the mizbeach? I need to put this on the mizbeach because perhaps there's nidava in this bowl, the big bowl, and the nidava needs a kmitza, and the kmitza I have to put on the mizbeach, but I can't put this on the mizbeach. Why? Again, we're going with the assumption that perhaps, worst case scenario, all of this 60 in this silver thing is all part of my carbon. And therefore, what? And I already put this on the mizbeach. I put this bowl on the mizbeach. Now it's usher. It's issa deraisa to put anything else onto the mizbeach. Let's say I want to be a big tzaddik. I put this kmitza on the mizbeach, and then 10 minutes later I go into my bowl. I take another kmitza, put it on the mizbeach. I was over issa deraisa. I am giving Hashem more. No, it says in the pasuk, "V'chol shu mimenu liishim hareu bebal taktiru." Once there was a fire, once the kmitza went onto the fire, anything in addition to that is this the rise about taktiru. Perhaps what's in this plastic bowl, the nadava part, is not nadava. Perhaps it's just part of the carbon, the chayva carbon. And now I'm sacrificing, I'm being makriv a second time when I'm not allowed to. You're only allowed to be makriv once, not twice. That's it. Okay. So says the Gemara. Omar Rabbi Yehuda, Bereder Rabbi Shimon Pazi, the mask lula shumeitzim. You know what you do? This nedava, you put on the mizbeach, and you say, if there's a nedava mincha in the thing, this should be my kmitza. But if not, I'm turning this into wood. I'm allowed to turn this into firewood. I need a burn. The mizbeach needs fire. It needs fuel. This is fuel. So just like we had it in that sugya, we had it in this sugya. That what you take this flour right over here, this nadava flour, and you say either it's a nadava, it's a condition. Either it's a nadava, but if it's not, let it be wood. You're allowed to put it up on the mizbeach. You can't put it as a carbon. You can put it as wood. Oh, Rabbi, say maybe the machlokes is different. Not if you're allowed to be ma'ariv a chayva with an adava. You're not. Everybody holds you're allowed to. So if you're allowed to, so what's the problem? According to Rebbe, just bring 60 and say half of it is an adava, half of it is not. This gufa, what we just said, the part that's an adava, how do I put it on the mizbeach? If I put it on the mizbeach, it's a problem. I'm being makriv on the tzad that it's not in the dove. I'm being makriv something from the original chatas twice after it was already on the mizbeach once. You can't do a second akrava. It's shumimenu liyishim. So they argue whether you could do this trick of switching it into wood or not. The Rabbanan listen to the Rebbe Lezer. Rebbe listen to the Rebbe Lezer. Okay. So what are you telling me? That according to Rebbe, you're allowed to mix a chayv and a dove into one bowl, and Rebbe doesn't hold the Rebbe Eliezer, you can't make it into wood. Oh, if you're allowed, you're permitted to mix the two, so look what I can do. This bowl, I put one isarin in this bowl. This bowl, I have 60. And then I touch them on the top, like this. The flowers touch. What did I gain? I'm going to take the kmitza from over here. One kmitza. I'm going to take one kmitza from here. I save all issues. What was the problem? That I took two kmitzas from here, and the second kmitza, how am I going to put on the mizbeach? I didn't take a second one from here. The second one was from a separate bowl. Just what? This second bowl is going to take care of all the nadavas in this bowl. How? By touching. You're allowed to do irvuv. You're allowed to mix. So I'm going to touch. Here, touches. This is the kmitza for all nadava in here. This is the kmitza for all the chayva in here. But I'm allowed to bring this on the mizbeach because this is not connected to this at all. It's not the second kmitza from here. It's its own original mincha. Huh? Yeah?
More than 60 sachakol.
No, but it's different bowls. Different bowls.
So how you marry? Menachos.
No, they touch. Lahalacha, they touch. They're not. It's in a separate. It didn't go bowls. It didn't change bowls. It's not 61 in here. It's 1 in here, 60 in here, and they just touch. It's the touching helps to that it could be pater the kmitza from here on there. No, where? I went back. Oh, so why did Rebbe not say this? It's a great answer. Rebbe didn't say it because he holds you can't mix. Rav Omar, another pshat. The kule am mutular of Chayve ben Adava, u the kule am mislu the Rebbe Eliezer, v'hare beplug the Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov Rabbanu Kamivli. Another mahalach. Again, let's go back. Rabbi say, we have a machloikis. This is for Rabbi Berg. If a person got confused and he made neder, he's going to bring a mincha, and he has no clue what he said, how many Yisrainim. It could be 1 Yisrael, it could be up to 60 Yisrainim. So Rebbe says a wild idea. He has to bring 60 kalim, and each one has a different amount. 1, 2, 3, a total of 1,830. Why? Why is 60 not enough? Just bring 60 and say, if I said 60, great. But if I said less than 60, so whatever I said is the chayv, and all the rest in that kli should be in a dava. So another pshat, because the machlokes is in Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. This not. We have a machlokes, a fundamental machlokes, how much oil is necessary for 60 isarein mincha? Either 60 lugim or 1 lug. And Memela, that answers the question. What's the answer? Because if in this bowl right over here, there's a mincha chayva and a mincha nedava, so according to one man domer, you'd need 2 lug, because it's 2 separate menachos. According to one man domer, you need 1. We don't know. It's either 1 mincha or 2 menachos. Memela, that's the shaila. How much oil to bring? Do you bring 1 lug or 2 lugim? And since I don't know, you can't bring the mincha. You have to do it all. You have to go all the way to 1830. If it's a large mincha of 60, all you need is 1 lug. So you either need 1 lug or 2 lugim. Shaman Rabbanan Savri Rabbanan Amri Shishim lug. According to Rabbanan, in the 60 bowl, you need 60 lug of oil. And Rebbe holds, no, you only need 1 lug for 60. But since this is possible, that's 2 different minachas, you need 2 lug. But what if it's only 1 mincha? So you need 1 lug. So now I'm confused. I don't know if I should bring 1 or 2. I don't know if it's 1 mincha, all it needs is 1 lug. Or it's 2. This one I relate to the most. This is like mamish easy. What's machlokes? Rav Ashi Omer b'kotem behevi golo k'mifligi. Super easy. Everybody's not going to understand. No one here is going to understand Rebbe. The shaila is, if a person says, I want to bring 1 isarin of a mincha, can I bring 60? Stum. Why not? I want to be large. I said I'm going to bring 1 bag of flour. I'm going to bring 60. Rebbe says you're not allowed to do that. That's not your neder. Your neder is 1. Stick to your neder. Memela, I can't bring a 60 bowl. So for every mincha that it's possible, I have to make every single possibility. 60 possibilities. That's it. Because maybe he didn't make this up, Rav Ashi, because they argue about the same exact thing by an animal. This exact machlokes is the same to the Tanakama and Rebbe. This nan. He donated. He said he's going to bring a small bull, a small one, 1,000-pounder. Ve'evi Gadol brought a 2,000-pounder yatza. Rebbe Yomi lo yatza. You believe this? You can't bring larger than you were noider. So what's the difference between a mincha and a bull? Tzricha. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. There's 1 kmitza for a 60 isar mincha. There's 1 kmitza for a 1 isar. The kmitza, what goes on his back, is identical in size. Avalasim by animals, the konefishi murim, the murim that we bring onto the mizbeach. He's supposed to bring the innards, the kloyos, the skirt steak, all these things. As large as the animal is, that's how, comparatively speaking, the murim are going to be larger. 2,000-pound animal is a murim are going to be double. That's why you changed your nether. You said you're going to bring 100 pounds of imurim onto the mizbech, and you brought 200 pounds. Maybe Chacham agreed in that case that you can't do that. Maybe Rebbe only said it by an animal because you're literally bringing more onto the mizbech. But when it comes to a mincha, maybe he admits Rabbanan. Should we do the Mishnah? We can do the Mishnah. This is the only time in Shas Rabbi Yisai that there's a siman before a Mishnah. I looked it up this morning. In the Mishnah, obviously there's no siman. The siman is an Amarayim kind of thing, or maybe Rabbanan Savra, I don't know. Siman, Eitzim Zav, Yain, Oila, Toida, Shar, these are all part of, a lot of it is for the next Mishnah. This Mishnah says, Harei Elai Eitzim, if a person says, I want to bring wood to the Mizbeach, Lo Yivchos Mishnei Gzirim, he has to bring at least 2 pieces that have to do with the Mizbeach. 2 pieces. The size of the Mizbeach, the size that you bring in the morning. Lo Yivchos Mishnei Gzirim. Levayna, and if he says, I'm going to bring frankincense, Levayna, Lo Yivchos Mekaymetz. Zog the Gemara, says the Mishnah, Levayna Lo Yivchos Mekaymetz. If a person donates a Levayna, he means 1 kmitza like this. Says the Mishnah, Chamisha Kmatzim Heim. There are in fact 5 different kmitzas when it comes to Levayna. Hoimer, Alai Levayna. When a person says, I'm accepting upon myself Levayna, Lo Yivchos Mekaymetz, he shouldn't give less than 1 kmitza. Hamanadiv Mincha, and any Mincha, the 5 Menachos that we saw, the Soilas, Marcheshes, Machvas, Chalas Rikikin, Yavi Mekaymetz Levayna, it should have 1 kmitza of Levayna. Hamalas HaKaymetz B'chutz. If you take this kmitza of Levayna and you makriv it in your house, chayev. Same thing it would be if you take this kmitza and put it on the mizbech for not the right reason. Shnei bezichin. What's the 2 bezichin, Rabbi Yisai? Take a look at this to remind the Olam. I was thinking to myself that before we learned Menachos, we weren't all very familiar with the Shulchan and the bezichin. If you said bezichin to somebody, ask a yeshiva guy, what's bezichin? It's bezichin, shmezichin. What's bezichin? It's the 2 spoons. And in each spoon, there's 1 kmitza worth of levayna. Shnei kmatzim. Harei Elai Zav, if a person says, I'm going to donate gold, Lo Yivchos Medina Zav, it shouldn't be less than the minimum small coin of Zav. Kesef, if he says silver, Lo Yivchos Medina Kesef, it should be 1 dinar of Kesef. The Chayshes do not bring the smallest coin of copper, that's not proper. Lo Yivchos Mimah Kesef. Pirashti v'nidem pirashti. If a person says, I don't know what I specified, maybe this is beautiful. Maybe keep on giving, and when it comes to 100, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, oh no, that can't be that much. Rabbi say, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.